columnist Charles Krauthammer. Charles.
Well, I understand from James's report the military options are rather scant. I think it's rather embarrassing that we should have had this release, immediate release of the video from the U.S. as a response. What the North Koreans have done is to cross the Rubicon. I mean, this is an entirely new phase. Once they have an intercontinental ballistic missile, they're obviously going to want to put a nuke on top. We're in a totally different world. And the video showing that we can have a surface-to-surface missile go 200 miles is a pathetic response. If we still had the tactical nukes that we withdrew in 1991, that would be a serious threat. That would be a way of saying, you mess with us, we can have in place, in theater, tactical nukes that can hit your capital and your other assets. But in the absence of that, it's a very weak response.
Quickly, what's next, Tim?
I think, you know, with this National Security Council at the UN, but I don't really think that really results in much. I mean, we're back to preemption, right? I mean, this is the action that some people are calling for now, and to decide what's going to happen. The problem is we have an irrational player in Kim Jong-un, and quite frankly, sometimes I think we have an irrational player in President Trump. We're not quite sure what he might do, and I'd like to hear from James Mattis if he had something to say about this, not Rex Tillerson, if we talk about military action. I think at the very least you can move some forces in place. You know, you can have some submarines, some ships, and so on, just to be there. But I don't know beyond that how far you actually would go.
Daniel.
And look, past presidents have all screwed this up. We know this. This is how we've gotten to this point now. The question is what are we going to do in the future? What is President Trump going to do? And now the stakes have risen dramatically with the ICBM capability of reaching the United States. If we don't do something about it, it could be life or death for American citizens.
Yeah, it's important. This is not just North Korea. This is the regime, the family regime, which is much more like a mafia family than anything else. We need to, as a country, put constant and unrelenting pressure on the Kim family regime through all of our various mechanisms, and much like the Soviet Union through the Cold War, so this could be a long slog, but we're going to be actively intolerant of this regime.
What's happened today is that for 25 years, successive administrations have kicked the can down the road. We're at the end of